My wedding dress was still hanging when he looked me in the eyes and said, "I think it's time for a fresh start. No more secrets." I wish he had stayed silent. My name is Emily Carter, and if you think you've heard shocking wedding stories, wait until you hear mine, because my wedding night, the night I thought would start my forever, ended before it even began. The morning of my wedding felt like something out of a movie. Sunlight poured through the hotel windows, making the gold and cream decorations sparkle. The scent of roses filled the air, and my bridesmaids, all in matching blush dresses, were giggling like it was our little secret. I sat on the edge of the bed, hands shaking, slipping into my lace gown. Every moment up to that day had led here. James, my soon-to-be husband, was waiting in the next room. I thought I knew him better than anyone else in the world. Walking down the aisle felt surreal. My father held my hand, his eyes shiny with tears, and I almost forgot to breathe. And there he was, James, in a tuxedo, smiling at me like he held my entire world in his hands. We exchanged vows, promising each other forever. For those few minutes, the world melted away. I thought, this is it. This is happiness. The reception was perfect. Champagne, laughter, music, everything I had ever dreamed of. We danced, we toasted, and I smiled so hard my cheeks hurt. A few small things I ignored, like him glancing at his phone or whispering briefly to his best man, felt unimportant. Weddings are stressful, I told myself. I was just being paranoid. By the end of the night, after the last sparkler faded, my heart was full. I couldn't wait for our honeymoon. I thought, finally, forever starts now. The suite door opened. Rose petals scattered across the floor, champagne glistening in the ice bucket, the city lights stretching endlessly outside. I kicked off my heels and laughed. "Finally," I whispered, "this is perfect." James stood silently by the window. I didn't think much of it. He was probably just taking it all in. But the tension in his shoulders, the tight set of his jaw, made me pause. Finally, he turned. That I'll stay smile was gone. His eyes looked different, nervous, determined, something I hadn't seen before. He sat on the bed, and in that calm, quiet voice, he said, "I think it's time for a completely fresh start. No more secrets." I blinked. Secrets? I tried to laugh, like the honeymoon plans, or maybe you think the ring was too expensive? He shook his head slowly, and then the words came. "It started with a woman from work. Just one mistake," he said, as if that made it any less painful. I tried to stay calm. I wanted to understand, to process. But he didn't stop. One after another, he listed names, places, moments. 7 affairs. 7. He spoke as casually as if he were talking about groceries. My mind went blank. My stomach turned. The man I had promised my life to, the person I thought I knew better than anyone, was suddenly a stranger. The room went quiet, deafeningly quiet. I just stared at him, trying to reconcile this man with the one I loved. The rose petals looked grotesque now, mocking me, a cruel reminder of a dream built on lies. I thought honesty would fix things," he said softly, almost pleading. "I wanted us to start fresh. Don't you see? I was brave." I wanted to scream, to cry, maybe even hit him, but instead, all I felt was emptiness, cold, hollow, final. "You didn't confess to start a marriage," I said slowly, my voice flat. "You confessed to end one, and you didn't even realize it." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just started packing my suitcase. "What are you doing?" he asked, panic creeping into his voice. "I'm leaving," I said, calm. "But we just got married. I told you everything so we could move forward." I turned to face him, letting the fire in my chest show for the first time. There is no we. There is no future here. You made that impossible yourself. He lunged for my arm, but I pulled away. Every ounce of affection I had for him evaporated. This wasn't James anymore. This was a man who had lied, deceived, and shattered everything I had believed. I placed the diamond ring back on the nightstand, left the champagne untouched, and I walked out of the suite, leaving my wedding dress behind, a silent monument to everything stolen from me. By morning, the annulment process had already begun. The next few days blurred together. Friends and family were shocked, some sympathetic, others whispering that they'd suspected he wasn't right for me. But I didn't have time for them. I had to survive the humiliation, heartbreak, disbelief. Looking back, that confession, as devastating as it was, became my lifeline. He didn't just destroy my wedding night, he gave me freedom. Brutal, painful, but freedom nonetheless. I threw myself into work. I got a promotion I'd been quietly aiming for. Every project, every success felt like reclaiming a piece of myself. I joined a fitness class, not to look perfect, but to feel strong again. Every drop of sweat, every lift, every sprint reminded me that I was mine again. I reconnected with friends I had neglected. We laughed, traveled, and made memories that belonged to me and only me. I learned to be alone, not lonely, but truly happy with just myself. And slowly, I rebuilt a life with no room for liars, cheats, or people who thought honesty could erase betrayal. It had been about a year and a half since that night. My life had changed completely. I had my job, my friends, my little victories every day, and a peace I never thought I could feel. Then the past decided to knock. It started with a text. "I know you hate me, but I can't stop thinking about you." I didn't even hesitate. I deleted it immediately. Then came emails. Long, desperate, rambling emails. "I've changed. I've been in therapy. I finally understand love. Losing you was my wake-up call." All of it. I didn't read most of them. I didn't want to. And then one day, he appeared, right outside my office. James, looking like a shadow of the man I had once married. His confident posture gone, replaced by nervous shifting and pleading eyes. For a fleeting moment, I felt pity. I remembered the man I had loved, the one I had thought I knew. But then I remembered that night, the confession, the coldness, the betrayal, and the pity vanished like smoke. I finally agreed to meet him. Coffee, neutral ground. Not for him, for me. I needed to close this chapter. He came in hopeful, like he expected me to forgive him instantly. And he started immediately. Regrets, realizations, apologies, promises that he had changed. I listened, calm, patient. When he ran out of words, I took a slow sip of my coffee and said softly, "You're right about one thing. You made a mistake. But your biggest mistake? It wasn't cheating on me 7 times. It was thinking I was weak enough to ever take you back." He froze. I continued. "You wanted a fresh start, didn't you? Well, you gave me one. You freed me from a man who never deserved me. You showed me exactly who you were before I wasted years of my life on you. So thank you. Thank you for being so selfishly honest. It forced me to build a life infinitely better without you." For the first time, I saw defeat in his eyes. All that confidence, arrogance, the smirk, gone. No second chance, no reconciliation, no hope. I stood up, placed a few bills on the table, and looked him directly in the eye. "I hope you find whatever it is you're searching for," I said, "but it won't be me." And I walked out. Life after James was extraordinary. I traveled alone, laughed harder than ever, surrounded myself with people who genuinely cared. I learned to fall in love with my own life before thinking about anyone else. I didn't need revenge. My happiness became the ultimate retribution. He had hoped to destroy me, but instead he built the path for me to flourish. Sometimes I catch glimpses of him on social media, desperately trying to look happy, but the spark in his eyes is gone, the arrogance replaced by regret. And in those moments, I smile, not out of cruelty, but because I finally understand. The power to shape your life belongs only to you. He regrets the life he threw away. I don't regret a single step of my journey. My freedom, my self-worth, and the life I built, these are priceless. No confession, apology, or plea could ever take that away from me. The night I discovered his betrayal felt like the end of the world, but it became my awakening. Life can change in an instant. Pain can be the push you need to grow. I learned to trust myself, value my happiness above anyone else's, and never settle for someone unworthy of me. So if you've ever been lied to, betrayed, or abandoned, remember this: your life is yours. Your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else's promises. And sometimes the best revenge is simply building a life so good that those who hurt you become nothing but a forgotten memory. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of the story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.